Hi guys, so this is your class video. We are going to be starting on beef jerky. So I wanted to show you what I had here. I have some thin cut sirloin steak that I purchased at Meijer. It's about 1.5 pounds and I got it for roughly $17. Can you believe that? I cannot believe how much prices have went up. But so I'm going to open the package. I'm going to trim off the fat because the fat will not dehydrate very well. If it's in the meat, that's not a problem. That'll actually taste okay. But when you have a little bit bigger fat pieces, I usually cut that off. I'm going to save that, and then I'll put it in broth later. I'm not going to throw it away. I'll just throw it in a freezer bag and throw it in my freezer. That way when I do broth next time, I have that. And then this is the marinade that I'm doing today. It's just a Meijer Steakhouse marinade. I like this one. It's a 15-minute marinade, but I usually let it set overnight. So I'm going to get things ready to do this, and then I will bring you guys back here in just a second. Okay, guys, we're back. So what I'm going to do, I've opened my package of meat. I'm going to open my marinade, and I'm going to put a little bit, if I can get it open, in the bottom of, I just have a little, I don't know, Meijer carry container plastic thing. Don't you love my verbiage for things? I'm going to put a little bit in the bottom. That way that bottom piece gets some marinade on it. I've already washed my hands. And I'm going to cut in strips. And it doesn't matter. It's whatever your family prefers on how you cut the meat. I like to do little strips. And then I'm just going to throw it right into the marinade. This one's got a little bit more fat on it than what I want. So I'm going to set that aside. I cut it off. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that might be just a little bit too thick. You know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I think it's too thick, but we can always pull it out when everything's done. So it's not a big deal. Okay. So here we go again. I'm just cutting strips. And they can be a little longer because, you know, meat shrinks when you marinate or when you cook it. So it'll be okay. So that's all I'm going to do is just cut it. Now, just so you know, the thinner the meat, the quicker it will dehydrate. Tomorrow we're going to be going over the Nesco dehydrator. I'm sorry, not tomorrow, Saturday. I've got so much going on, I can't even keep my days straight. So the Nesco, and then I have a Magic Mill dehydrator that I love. The Magic Mill is pricier, but it's, you know, you can leave it on your counter, and I've dehydrated, you name it, I've dehydrated it. Herbs, garlic, onion, peppers. That's just a little bit too much fat. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put it in the freezer for soup or broth. What else have I done? I've done parsley, cilantro. I've done basil. I've done oranges. I've done lemons. I have not done apples. I did do, no, I take that back. I have not done bananas. I did do apples. But I tell you, the best person in the world to do apples would be Pam. Her apples were amazing. So she knows what she's doing when she's dehydrating apples. I didn't have a chance to try her banana chips. But I'm sure they were just as good. So we're going to be doing everything in the Nesco. And you can also do this in the oven. And we're going to go over that in class as well. You do not need any fancy equipment to do this. So I highly recommend this, especially if you know if you're going to have a road trip coming up or a flight, or I don't know, you're going to have a busy day and you're not going to be able to eat much. You know, this is really good protein. I do a lot of this and put it in Mike's lunch when he's working. And it's good for a movie snack too. So you can't go wrong. And you can do this with beef or chicken or pork. I've actually done that too. I've done pork and chicken. Wasn't real happy with the chicken. I just felt like the chicken was just too thick. So I think, you know, how you can go to Walmart or Meijer, and you can actually buy a meat slicer. And I think that's my next goal, is to do that one. And that way I can just slice my chicken the way I like. But I'm wondering if you couldn't do deli chicken, you know, the pre-sliced chicken. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So you could always do that well. But anyway, so, and then I also want to make sure that I specify for those that do not make it to class, that if you are going to be doing any kind of venison or any kind of a wild game meat, that has to be frozen for a minimum of 60 days. So if you're going to dehydrate a venison or a wild game meat, please remember to do that. Because what that does is when you're freezing it, it can make sure that all the bacteria is killed, is dead in that meat. So I would highly recommend that if you're going to do, again, venison, buffalo, rabbit, whatever meat your family likes, especially if you're a hunter, squirrel, I know people eat squirrel meat, duck, stuff like that, I would definitely freeze that for a minimum of 60 days, okay? It has to stay in the freezer. Okay, so I've got quite a bit in the bottom of my bowl already. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to top it again with marinade. Not a lot, just a little. Now for class, I did go ahead and order 10 pounds of, now I can't remember what kind of meat it was, but I think it was sirloin. And so we have that already for class. So you don't have to worry about bringing anything. I've already got it taken care of. And then we're going to go over a couple of marinades. The Meijer marinade that I just showed you, I really do like that when I'm in a hurry. My favorite marinade it's a soy, Worcestershire, garlic, lemon marinade. It is the best marinade on anything. If you're going to grill a steak, I highly recommend you use that marinade. It is so good. So we're going to be doing that one in class as well. And then I'll let you choose, which one you want to do. So, and then we're going to be going over Mylar bags, vacuum sealing. You can actually seal this either in a food saver bag, or you can put it in a jar and keep it that way. The only thing about the jar is you're going to have to reseal it every time you open it if you want to keep it for longer. And I guess you would have to do that with the bag too. But you can always portion it out. So I just feel like if you're going to use a jar, if you just do a little portion, it's kind of a waste of a jar. But if you have access to quite a few jars, then that might be the way to go. And it looks really pretty in a jar too. So, okay. So this piece looks like it's got quite a bit of fat on it. I don't know if you can see that, but can you see the fat there? And I really don't mind the fat, because I can reuse that. But if you're not into making your own broth, I could see where that might be a little frustrating for you. But I highly recommend you make your own broth. I did recently open up some of my broth that I had made, and on the top of it, it was actually a green color. Kind of freaked me out. That's the first time it's ever happened. And so I am Googling this, trying to figure out, and I had already thrown it away because I'm like, well, if it's green, it's mold or it's not any good. But actually, just so you know, so you don't make the same wasteful mistake I made, a lot of times, especially if you put any kind of parsley or basil or bay leaves in your roaster, when you're making your own broth, it will turn green. So I wasted a bunch of broth. I threw it away. I should have Googled it before I did it, but because it smelled fine, it looked fine. There was no slime in it. It looked and smelled fine, but I just got a little grossed out and a little overzealous and threw it away. So I could kick myself now. So learn from me before you throw it out. When in doubt, don't throw it out. Google it and see. Because I had no idea that if you use certain herbs in your soup, that it could turn, because there's fat particles that will form on the top of your broth after you've stored it. It's natural. It's just beef fat, especially if you do a beef broth or a chicken broth, or now if you do a vegetable broth, there won't be any fat, but I just never had that before. And my memory, I don't remember if I've ever used fresh parsley or basil or bay leaves before this. So anyway, if it smells good and it doesn't have any slime, and if you've used any kind of fresh herbs in your broth, that's probably what it is. But it's your kitchen, your rules, and wrong piece. Sorry. If you don't feel comfortable, do not use it. So, okay, almost done. So this will marinate, like I said, overnight, and I will bring you guys back tomorrow when I get ready to put it in the dehydrator. Now, I am going to use, because I did take my Nesco dehydrator to church for class. So I will, I didn't think ahead. So I am going to have to use my Magic Mills, but it's basically the same. Same process, same everything. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now the Nesco, I believe, wants you to dehydrate at 160. There's no setting on it. So you're at the mercy of however it heats. And it's usually, I think it said 8 hours. So I like to do mine low and slow. So that'll be what I do in my Magic Mills, because it actually has a temperature control. Okay. So I've got it all marinated. I've used all my marinade. I'm going to add just a little bit, like a tablespoon of water, just to get the rest of it out of the bottle. And that's all I'm doing, guys. I'm going to let it sit. And then I will bring you guys back tomorrow. I'm going to let you see this real quick. Let me get the meat off my hands. I will bring you guys back tomorrow, and you can be with me as I put it back into my dehydrator. And then I'm going to bring it to class so you guys can try it on Saturday. It'd be a nice little snack. Okay, let me flip you around. So that's what it looks like. Okay. So then, and there's my freezer bag that I'm going to put my beef pieces on. It's not a lot, but I will not throw those away. I don't want to throw them away. You know, it's wasteful. So, but yeah, so this is where we are, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, guys, so it's been roughly 36 to 40 hours. I did not get to it right away at the 24-hour mark, which is, it's perfectly fine. The longer it marinates, the better it is anyway. So I'm perfectly fine with that. I've placed some of my strips on my trays. My machine comes with 6 trays. I won't need all 6. I do not believe I'll need all 6. I have my dehydrator going at 130. Typically, the recommended temperature is 160. But I like to do mine low and slow. So I have mine set at 130, and I'm going to have it set for 10 hours. Now, if I'm still not happy at 10 hours at 130, and it's close to getting to bedtime, I will actually turn my dehydrator all the way down to 95 degrees and just let it go overnight. Okay? So, but that's what we've got so far, and I want you to notice that I have spacing in between the meat, and the reason why I do that is the heat needs to get in through the food. If you have it spaced together or squished together like that, then the heat cannot get in that spacing. So redo that. Okay. So this is what I have. I will bring you back once I get all the trays into the dehydrator. But it's looking really good right now. All right, I'll bring you back. Okay, so my meat is in my dehydrator. I did forget to mention that for my racks, to protect my racks, I do use the Reynolds Wrap nonstick foil, and I don't go all the way around them. I just go right over the edge. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it just barely tucks over. And the reason why I do that is the heat can get to the food from the bottom as well. I only barely wrap it over the sides, just so it keeps my racks clean. So I did use the foil, and I always use foil no matter what. On anything I dehydrate, I use the foil. So I will give it probably about 4.5 hours, and then I will flip my meat over and let it go another 5, depending on how it looks. But I'm going to bring you back during the process and show you as we're going what's going on. But I have my time set for 10 hours. I've got it cooking at a very, very low rate at 130. But that's what it looks like. And I actually made a mistake. I have 7 racks for my dehydrator, not 6. I think I said 6 in my last video. And we're using 5 right now. So, and then the one rack is not even full. So I probably could have squeezed it in at 4, but oh well. Okay, so I will bring you guys back as the process continues. Okay guys, they've been in for about 1.5 hours. I'm going to pull some out here, and they're starting to dry, if you can see that. So they're looking pretty good. Flip one over. Yeah, they're still pretty soft. So, but they're starting. Okay? So I'll bring you back here in a couple more hours. Okay guys, so it's been a little over 4 hours and I just went through and flipped all the meat over. So this is what the one side looks like. And this is the side that was down on the foil. They are cooking a little bit quicker than what I wanted them to cook or to dehydrate. So I did turn the temperature down to 100, okay? It's really your preference. I just like doing it low and slow. I just feel like it just tastes better. So, yeah, that's where we are. Looks pretty good. I tasted a piece. It's really good. So I will bring you back here in just a couple of more hours and we'll see where they are from there. Okay guys, 8.5 hours later, we now have beef jerky. I really wanted to cover the Mylar bags and the vacuum sealing and things of that nature, but unfortunately it's after 10 o'clock at night and I'm a little tired. So we will go over that in class, but this is my beef jerky. We really like it, believe it or not, kind of tough. Some people like it chewy. We do not. But you can do it however you'd like, your kitchen, your rules. But this is the type that we like. Okay? It's very tasty. I've tried it, and it is so good. So I'll put this in the fridge, and then we'll just eat this throughout the week. But, yeah, this is what I have. Okay? So I will upload this and we will go over everything in class and I will talk to you later.